Bitcoin will power the global energy grid. Imagine a future where the lights in Tokyo, the data centers in California, the factories in Germany, and the homes in South America are all connected to a single global energy web. Not a patchwork of isolated power grids, but a planetary system, balancing itself in real time. This might sound like science fiction, but it's closer to reality than most people realize. And the hidden piece that could make it all possible is Bitcoin, not as digital gold, not just as money, but as a planetary incentive system, capable of coordinating energy across continents. The story of Bitcoin as money is the one everyone knows. What almost no one talks about is Bitcoin as energy. Bitcoin as the missing layer that allows renewable power to be captured, stored, and distributed at the scale of the entire Earth. Let's start with a simple truth. The biggest problem with renewable energy isn't production, it's balance. Solar produces at noon, but demand peaks at night. Wind turbines can spin wildly in storms, yet sit still during calm days. Hydro dams overflow in wet seasons, but run low in droughts. The energy exists, but the timing doesn't match. The grid struggles, storage is expensive, and waste is enormous. Billions of kilowatt hours vanish every year because we can't capture demand in the right place at the right time. Now imagine if there were a global market, always hungry for energy, no matter where or when it's produced, a buyer of last resort that can absorb surplus power in Africa at sunrise, or in Texas during a windstorm, or in China during a hydro peak. That buyer exists, and it's called Bitcoin mining. Unlike factories or households, miners don't care where they are. They can plug into any stranded, wasted, or excess energy source and immediately turn it into value. Here's the twist. Bitcoin mining isn't just a sink for wasted power. It can actually act as a signal. A programmable reward layer that says to the world's grid, shift power here, now. By tuning the mining incentives, energy demand can migrate across the Earth, like a flock of birds changing direction. Think about that for a moment. Every 10 minutes, a Bitcoin block is created, carrying with it a reward. That block space isn't just financial, it's an incentive beacon. It tells miners everywhere, there's value available, but only if you can harness energy. Now scale this up to a planetary grid. Imagine solar farms in Africa producing midday surplus. Miners there ramp up, soaking up the excess, preventing grid instability. But when the sun sets in Africa, night falls, and solar fades. The mining demand shifts, pulled to where hydro dams in Canada are overflowing, or where wind turbines in Europe are roaring. The effect is dynamic load balancing across nations, across continents, across the planet. Not centrally controlled by governments, not dictated by bureaucrats, but coordinated by the invisible hand of Bitcoin's incentives. This is why calling Bitcoin wasteful is a shallow misunderstanding. The critics imagine miners sitting in cities, competing with homes and hospitals. But the truth is, miners thrive on the edges. They live where power is stranded, wasted, or unstable. They stabilize what the traditional grid cannot. Think about the numbers. Global grids waste more than 200 terawatt hours of electricity every year. That's more than enough to power entire nations. Right now, it's just dumped, lost, or curtailed. Bitcoin can absorb it instantly, profitably, sustainably. But this goes even deeper. Once Bitcoin begins stabilizing renewables, it creates new incentives for building more of them. Imagine a remote valley in South America, perfect for hydro, but too far from cities. In the past, no one would invest. But now, you can build the dam, power miners on day one, and fund the expansion until transmission lines arrive. This is what no one sees. Bitcoin isn't just consuming energy, it's financing energy. It's underwriting infrastructure. It's making stranded resources economical. And once that power plant is connected to the broader grid, society inherits a new stable source of clean power. The grid of the future isn't one monolithic machine. It's a patchwork of renewables, linked by incentives, with Bitcoin acting as the balancing heartbeat. Every 10 minutes, tick by tick, Bitcoin coordinates energy demand globally. Picture it like this. A river in Iceland swells from glacier melt. Excess hydro spins turbines. Miners absorb it. Block rewards are captured. Meanwhile, in Texas, a heat wave causes air conditioners to spike demand. Mining rigs there power down, releasing capacity back to the homes that need it most. This isn't hypothetical. Already, miners in Texas are doing exactly this, shutting down during peak demand and ramping up when the grid has excess. They act as a flexible load, a shock absorber, something no traditional factory or consumer can replicate. Now imagine this scaled globally, not just in Texas. A worldwide grid that breathes with demand, constantly finding balance, constantly optimized by mining incentives. It's almost poetic. For centuries, humanity fought wars over energy. Oil, coal, gas pipelines, nuclear secrets. But in this future, the currency of energy isn't blood or politics. It's math. It's Bitcoin. Neutral, incorruptible, decentralized. And here's the hidden layer few dare to consider. If Bitcoin becomes the incentive engine for a planetary grid, then energy itself becomes programmable. Imagine directing mining demand to regions in need. Imagine tying mining incentives to carbon reduction goals. Imagine a world where the free market naturally pulls humanity toward cleaner, more abundant energy. Bitcoin doesn't care about ideology. It only cares about efficiency. And in that neutrality lies its genius. The same force that once drove miners to coal is now pulling them to stranded hydro, wasted wind, and excess solar. Why? Because it's simply cheaper. The market sorts it out without politics. This is the hidden destiny of Bitcoin. Not just money for the internet, not just a hedge against inflation, but the invisible glue of a planetary energy system. So when people ask, what is Bitcoin backed by? You can answer with confidence. It's backed by energy, by the hardest, most universal resource on Earth. And soon, and it may not just be backed by energy, it may balance it. Think about how radical that is. For the first time in human history, energy can move seamlessly across borders, not through wires, but through incentives. Miners chase the cheapest energy, and in doing so, they balance humanity's greatest system, the grid itself. In this future, Bitcoin isn't just the money of the internet. It's the conductor of Earth's symphony of power. Every turbine, every panel, every dam, harmonized by the beat of a decentralized clock. And maybe, just maybe, this is how we finally solve the renewable paradox. Not through government subsidies, not through wishful thinking, but through a market incentive so powerful, it rewires the planet's entire energy metabolism. Most people will never hear this story. They'll be stuck debating old talking points about Bitcoin wasting electricity. They won't see the hidden design, the quiet revolution happening on the fringes of the grid. But you see it now. You understand that Bitcoin's mining incentives aren't a bug. They're a feature. They're the invisible hand guiding the birth of a global, renewable energy web. The only question is, will you stand on the sidelines repeating the old myths, or will you step into the future where Bitcoin powers not just money, but the very heartbeat of civilization itself? Because in the end, the global energy grid will exist. The only question is what coordinates it: centralized bureaucracy or decentralized math? The choice is obvious. The future is already unfolding. And if you want to stay ahead of this revolution, if you want to understand Bitcoin on the level almost no one else does, then subscribe, share this video, and join us as we uncover the hidden truths others won't talk about. Because the next era isn't just Bitcoin as money, it's Bitcoin as energy. And once you see it, you can't unsee it.